Today, I'm going to teach you guys everything you need to know about makeup primers. Now, I know as a makeup artist, makeup shopping in general can just be extremely overwhelming. Like literally I can go into Sephora, get lost and not go out with any product because it can just get so freaking overwhelming. Like I have all these products saying that they're going to change my life, they're going to do all these miracles for me, and then they just end up lying. It's like a bad boyfriend, you know? I don't even know how I even got through to being a makeup artist. Like 2 years ago, I literally knew absolutely nothing about makeup. You couldn't even tell me that there was a difference between an eyebrow pencil and eyeliner. Like I knew nothing, but now I'm an internationally certified beauty and special effects makeup artist. Whoa, yeah, that's me in 2 years. I'm not saying that I'm an amazing makeup artist, but I am saying that I'm working on becoming the most educational makeup artist out there for you guys. So first of all, we're going to talk about why you really need a makeup primer. Yes, you need a makeup primer. Why? Because I want you to think about your face as a wall. If you've ever done any painting, if you've ever done any home decor or rehab, like home rehab, you might know a little bit about painting. So if you don't know anything about painting, come with me. Okay, we're just going over here. Don't worry. So like, here's my face, here's the wall. Let's think of these two things like in similarities, because in this situation, we're gonna be thinking about how my face and a wall both need primer. Okay, I'm gonna unhook you for a second, and I'm going to show you here. There's some holes in the wall, and there's some imperfections in this wall, and I really hope you can see. Like, there's this, and all these small little imperfections. Same thing with my skin. I have a whole bunch of pores, I have red spots, I have dark circles, I have like oiliness, I have pores. I could go on and on and on about all of the imperfections my skin have. Let's come back to Elizabeth world. Okay, so my skin and the wall both have a lot of imperfections. Before putting on a base coat on this wall, I will put on a paint primer, because a paint primer will help to smooth out the imperfections. It'll help to smooth out all the holes in the wall so that when I put the paint on, you don't see those imperfections, or they're a lot easier to cover up. The same thing with a makeup primer. The same exact thing. No, makeup primer and paint primer, don't ever use paint primer on your face. Like, they aren't actually the same thing, but they do the same thing. They have the same action. So in that same sense, a makeup primer will help to cover up and fill in your pores. It will help to hide any redness. If you have oily skin, it will help to diminish or absolutely reduce the amount of oiliness that your skin produces throughout the day. If you have dry skin, the correct primer will help to add some life and some lumosity to your skin, so you'll have more life into you and you won't look so dry and dead skinish, if that makes sense. So there are a crap ton of different primers out there. There are luxury primers, there are primer masks, there are drugstore primers, and in each section there's a whole bunch of thousands of different subsections. You could go through certain brands or certain, like, some primers are meant for oily skin, some primers are meant for dry skin. Like, there are so many to choose from, so how do you know which one is the right one for you? Well, that's what we're gonna get to in a hot second. So first of all, I just want to show you my collection of primers. I don't have a whole lot of primers, and a lot of the primers that I have, I've gotten through subscription boxes. So I have a primer mask that I've never used because I want to talk about it in this video. So this is from BioBell, and this is supposed to enhance radiance, minimize pores, and even my skin tone with this primer mask. I have Rimmel Stay Matte Primer, one of my favorite primers all time. I have Maybelline Baby Skin Primer, that's it for my drugstore. Then I have Cover FX Illuminating Primer. I have Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizing Primer. I have Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. I have Faced Hangover RX Primer. Porefessional. It's from, well, it's supposed to be from Benefit, but I bought it off of AliExpress. It's from Kiss Beauty. It's supposed to be a pore reducing primer. And last but not least, I have Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer Primer. What are all those primers? Each primer does a different thing. Each primer has a different use for different skin problems. And that's what you're really using a primer for is to fix some of the problems your skin has. For example, I used to have, or actually I could talk about this one. The Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer is great to use if you have redness. For example, I have a lot of redness around here. I have acne. So if I'm looking just to cover up the redness on my skin, I would use a skin equalizing primer. You may also find primers that are marketed as helping to fight redness because they have a tint of green to them. If you're looking to fix your redness, you'll want to use something like that. On the other hand, we have oily primers that help to reduce the oiliness of your skin. My favorite drugstore primer of all time, because I have oily skin, is the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. I love this. I've had this for a good while. This is always, always, always my go-to primer for myself and my makeup artistry clients. Then you have things as masks. These, I don't even know if these work, but they're out there, so I'm gonna answer your questions. So each of these primers all have one thing in common. They all have a consistently thickness to them. Some of them will be white, some primers will be on the greener side, just depending, again, on what you're looking to change about your skin. You want to use a makeup primer because if you want a smooth makeup application, using a primer will help to give you that. It will help to give you that flawless finish that not one looks good, but also stays on all throughout the day. If you spend half an hour putting on your makeup, you're going to want it to stay on all throughout the day, right? Well, if you don't use a makeup primer, that's not going to happen. So here's the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. This is a thick, almost looks like lotion. This is $4.99 at the drugstore. It's a little candy cane. It's so cute. But as you can see, it's very white. I also have the Too Faced Hangover Foundation Primer, which comes in a pump bottle that I just dropped. Yes, I did. Let's see how this looks. Okay, can you thank you. So as you can see, this looks a little bit more liquidy than the Stay Matte Primer. Now the reason why is because the Stay Matte Primer, which is this one right here, helps to also fill in pores, which in turn will help to stop or minimize the production of oil. This, on the other hand, is not meant to do anything like that. It's helped to bring back some life into my skin. The Hangover Rx Primer is really meant for people who have more dry skin. So this is a little bit more moisturizing because it's meant for people who have dry skin. If you have dry skin, you're looking not to keep yourself matte, but to bring some life back into your skin, and that's exactly what this primer does. So as you can see, these two are both white. Then we're going to head over to the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer Primer. Let's see how this one looks. Now as you can see, this is a lot more nude looking. It's got a tan color with some green undertones to it. Why does it have green undertones to it, you may ask? Because it's meant to help equalize your skin or give you a nice smooth blank canvas, if you will, to start putting on your foundation with. This is also a little bit on the thicker side. It kind of looks like Play-Doh in a sense. If you think of it, like if you do the worms, it looks like Play-Doh a little bit. We also have the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer. This one is to help hydrate your skin. This one is very, very watery. You can even see it moving down my hand. As you can see, the consistencies between the Makeup Forever and the Too Faced the hydrating primer are very similar in the sense that they're more watery because they are meant for drier skins. We have the Porefessional, which is clear. This is also a thicker side. You can't even really see it, but it's on a thicker side, as well as the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. That's because they're meant to fill in pores. And in order to fill in pores, you need something that has a bit of thickness and consistency into it to pack into those pores to get everything nice and smooth. The Smashbox Photo Finish Primer is obviously clear, but it has a bit of a fog to it, if you will. But that as well is on the thicker side. And then last but not least, we have the Maybelline Baby Skin Primer, which is supposed to be a dupe for the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. These two are right next to each other. This is Maybelline, this is Smashbox. So these are all different primers. They all almost look different. They each have their own consistency to them. That's because no product is ever exactly the same, and they're all made and marketed for their own specific fixes. Like, that makes sense. I hope that made sense. But can you mix primers together? Like, can you? Totally, you totally can. I always mix my Rimmel Stay Matte and the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer because I have large pores, especially in my T-zone area, but I also need oiliness. I need like less oil on my skin. So I'm just gonna get a little swatch of each one and show you on my skin how they appear and how to properly apply. I probably shouldn't be using my finger, but that's okay because my skin is clean, my hands are clean, so I don't really have to worry about spreading acne. So here is my Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. I always, if you are using a pore diminishing primer, tap it into your skin, because just by smearing it onto your skin, you can do this at first, but once it starts getting a little tacky, you're going to tap it into your skin. You're going to want to tap it into your skin because your pores, think of your pore as a C or a U. This is your pore right here. By just smearing your primer on top, you're only getting in the first top layer into the pore. By tapping it in, you're getting into the pore, which means your pores, by tapping it in, are going to be completely reduced by the size of their appearance. That was backwards. But you're also helping to remove the oil production because you're getting everything in there nice and like patted in. So this is the Rimmel Stay Matte Foundation Primer. As you can see, I already look less oily. This side of my face does not have any primer ends, and right here does. I look less oily, but it's clear, or white. Actually, this one was white. So you can't really see that I'm wearing primer. It doesn't really look like I'm wearing anything at all. On the other hand, I have the Makeup Forever primer, and this one has some color to it. This one definitely does feel a little bit sandy, which is strange. I don't know why it feels sandy feeling. But you can't see that I'm wearing anything. It doesn't even look like I'm wearing anything at all, but the reduction of this pimple right here, the redness to that is definitely, you can see a little bit of a reduction to it. I didn't use a lot of primer for the Makeup Forever. I didn't put a whole lot on, but by having that reduction there and then putting on a foundation on top, you'll have a flawless finish. And that's like the whole point of wearing primer, is to give yourself a flawless finish and to have makeup stay on all day. On the other hand, we have the Too Faced Hangover Primer. As you can see, it is very shiny and very wet on the skin. Do you see how easy my hand is sliding around? I do like using a Too Faced Hangover Primer because it really brings a certain life back into my face. So here's my face split down in half. Here's the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer, and here's the Too Faced Hangover Primer. You can really see the difference in my skin. I have a lot more glow, if you will call it, to my skin, a lot more why can't I say that word? Lumosity to my skin. And a little bit brighter looking. This is very dull looking, but that's okay because I'm not wearing any foundation. But this side, however, looks a lot brighter, more lifelike. Now, last but not least, we have our silicone-based primers, which are meant to fill in pores. I always use the crap out of these in my nose area, so I'm going to get all nice up and close. I have to look in my viewfinder because otherwise I'll poke myself in the face. If you can already see, my skin already looks smoother. So again, the same situation with the silicone-based primers for the pores. You're first going to want to rub that in, but once you're done rubbing it in, it gets a little tacky or you don't feel as much primer on your skin. You're going to want to tap it in. The same reason why that I talked about with the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. It really, like, if we can get all nice up and close, you can really see a difference in the size of my pores and the appearance of my pores. Now, a pore reducing primer does not always reduce oil. If you're looking for a primer that reduces oil and the appearance of pores, you're going to have to look for one that's marketed as both of them. I do not have a single primer here that reduces both of those things. A primer usually is only marketed to help diminish the appearance of one specific thing or to help hydrate your skin. But I have all these different primers on my skin, and you can really see the difference. Like, look, very luminous and glowy, very matte, a lot less red. My nose doesn't look like it has any pores on it whatsoever. And then I kind of just mixed all of them right here and put that on my chin area. You can really see the Hangover Rx really coming through and giving me some life. But you can mix primers, and that is exactly what I did here. By mixing primers, I'm kind of taking and making one formula to fight multiple things. You're not going to want to mix a hydrating primer with a primer that helps to reduce oil, because that's kind of just combating your like X and Y. You're kind of just doing like the same thing. That wouldn't really make sense. A primer mask, on the other hand, this one says to enhance radiance and minimize pores. I have no idea if this works. I can't really test it out, but I would really only recommend a primer mask for somebody who has extremely dry skin and you're looking to bring some life and glow back to you, because a mask is really a great way to deliver a lot of hydration to your skin immediately and not have to cake on a lot of moisturizer and cake on a lot of primer. So that's it. That's everything you need to know about primer. Yes, you can apply primer with your hands. You can apply it with a beauty blender or a makeup sponge or a buffing brush. You can apply a primer with whatever you so want, as long as you apply primer. Now, I'm not saying that you have to, because makeup is whatever you want to do. It's your thing. That's how you have fun. But applying primer can really help make your makeup stay on all day, as well as reduce the appearance of blemishes, fine lines in the same sense. I use silicone-based primers to reduce the appearance of my fine lines, and just to smooth out your skin and give you a great base to start applying your makeup. But that is it. That's everything you need to know, summed up in 17 minutes. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one.